Good morning, guys. TS Homestead Prepping here. I want to thank everybody for subscribing, watching my videos, hitting the thumbs up. Today I am starting a task. I did one of these a couple years ago, and it's actually finally turned out to season quite well. This was a yard sale find. It's about a 16 or so inch cast iron frying pan, a couple inches deep. It is a Lodge. The last one I did was a Wagner, and that was just trial and error. This is a different way that I'm going to try to do this, but as you can see, this thing has been sitting out for quite some time. So the first process is going to be to get as much rust off of here as I possibly can, and then I'll go just to washing it up with a heavy steel wool type scouring pad and hot water, and I'll do that several times, and eventually get it to the point where I start the curing process in the oven. I use flax oil or grapeseed oil, avocado. Flaxseed seems to soak into the cast iron a little better. So I'm just going to work on this part for a little bit. This will be a multi-step process. So. Well, that's not embedded in there as deep as what I was afraid it was going to be so far. There you go. You can see it's a Lodge. It's a 10SK USA. I've tried the cheaper ones one time that I found at a yard sale. It's okay for just a little campfire pan, but you're not going to cook much in it without constantly re-curing it, and everything still sticks to it. So maybe I'll just melt sinkers in it one day. Who knows? Guys, so that's the gist of it. I'm gonna keep working on this thing, and I'll be back. All right, guys, about 20 minutes in with the doing the wire brush with my drill. And as you can see, that has cleaned up quite well. I just hosed it off with the outside spigot. Now we'll take it inside and get it under some good hot water and continue the handwork. All right, guys, we're back inside. Had to come out of some of the clothes. It's about 33 degrees outside, but the wood stove in here's got it at about 70. To get the water as hot as it will go, I like to use the Scotch-Brite stainless steel scrubbers. No soap, no nothing. It gets down in the pores pretty decent, because some of this rust is embedded down in there fairly decent. into the pitting. I will have to do this several times. Sometimes I even have to use vinegar, a 50-50 vinegar water solution to draw some of that out of the porous areas. Not a big fan of using that because it is so acidic, but you just do it in short intervals. Let it soak for about 15 minutes, scrub it down again. You just keep repeating the process until you get pretty much as much of the rust out of the pores as you can. In between, I will put this on the stove and heat the pan up because this will flash rust right before your eyes. So I'll heat it up, and that helps pull some of the rust out of it too. So I'll continue working on this, and I'll be back. Okay guys, you've seen outside how clean the pan looked. You can see the water here, working with it for a little while. I do have it on the stove, bringing it up to temperature a little bit to scrub it some more, and you can see there's still a lot of rust coming up out of here. So this is going to take probably 6, 8, maybe even 10 times repeating this same process to get enough rust out of there where I can put a first coat of oil on it, pop it in the oven for an hour, and see how that part turns out. So I will continue. Alright guys, I got this about as clean as I'm going to be able to get it. I'm going to put a generous amount of flaxseed oil in the pan here. This thing is very, very hot because you want to basically get this, set it on the burner and get it as hot as you can, not quite to the smoke point, but if your fingers can just barely touch the edge without it burning you, it's hot enough that it has opened up the pores in the pan. So you just want to coat it a generous amount. You really don't want any puddles, and you want to get in pretty much every crack and crevice that you can. Now keep one thing in mind, this damage to this pan did not happen overnight, so this is something that's going to take multiple times. The last one I did took 4 different times in the oven to basically bring it up for season. I want to coat every little crack and crevice that I can. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and I will stick it in there for an hour for this first time around. And it is very, very hot. Even with gloves on, it's difficult to hold it up in the air. But first time around for an hour, and then you have to let it come completely cool naturally, because you don't want any chance of it warping the cast iron, cracking the cast iron. This pan is in really good shape. It sits level. I saw no visible cracks whatsoever in it. So I will stick it in there for about an hour, and then just let it come down to natural room temperature excuse me, for however long it takes to do that. And then I'll just continue to repeat the process probably 3 or 4 times. And this is something I'm going to work on probably over the course of the week. And once I get it to a point that I feel comfortable with, then the best thing to do is start cooking in it. Put you a couple inches of oil in there and fry some potatoes or bacon, stuff of that nature, and start bringing in that natural seasoning to it. So I'm going to finish wiping this down and then put it in the oven. Okay, first trip out of the oven. It is cool enough where I can handle it. With the first process of the curing, as you can see, there's the Lodge 10SK. Hard to believe it's still the same pan, man. But I'm gonna cure it in the oven at least 2 more times, and then we'll see what it looks like then. Alrighty guys, this is the 3rd time out of the oven, and I am very pleased with the way this has turned out. As you can see, I still got a few spots there that need a little dressing up, but you always have a little bit of discoloration in it. So I think I'm going to do this one more time, and then we'll start cooking with her. So I'm going to call that almost the final product. Once again, guys, I appreciate you watching, and you guys have a blessed day.